Hey, great people, thank you for joining us. I am Chidi Akunna.
And I am Victor Akunna.
Hey, if you're new to our YouTube channel, Foundation for Family Affairs, please subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you're notified when we drop our content. And to every returning subscriber, I would like to say thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for sharing this content, for our content.
That's
okay.
right.
Feel free to share this with people you think might need them and people you think do not need them but might know people who need them. Okay, let's get the word around.
Yeah.
All right. So as we work with people when they enroll on our coaching program, Intimacy Builder program, we've come to realize that for some people, they do not realize that going a long time without having sex is actually a problem. Okay, so when we highlight this, so we see people's eyes light up like, oh, what's going on? Okay, and then we start to think about it. It's not right that as a couple, you go on 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, not having sex. I mean, these are people who used to enjoy it.
Yes.
It's different if, okay, it's been the problem from the start. And then all of a sudden, nothing happens and you've just normalized not having sex. Okay, so we thought we would put this out for the benefit of such persons, for the benefit of their spouses who are also wondering, what's wrong with my spouse? Okay, so we can have some perspective. Okay, and then the topic of this video, which we thought we will put out there, is why you no longer enjoy sex. Why you no longer enjoy sex? Do you want to say something?
Yeah, another thing I wanted to say is that sometimes, so this video is also for those people who are thinking, my spouse no longer enjoys sex. So rather than just complaining and nagging your spouse, trying all, this might give you perspective to understand why this might be happening. So you guys can have more meaningful conversations around this subject.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So it will be a 2-part video. We have points you want to stay to the end to watch. Okay.
I
all right, and then stay tuned for the second one.
Yeah.
These are points we know will revolutionize any marriage. Okay, anyone going through, you might just want to hear to the end. So the first point we have for you today is medical conditions. Okay, medical conditions. An example would be diabetes. Okay, we've seen this where because one person is going through that, he goes off sex. Okay, he or she goes off sex. There's no desire, there's no drive for it. Okay, and then what some spouses do not realize is that your spouse is there wanting it, needing sexual satisfaction. So for cases like this, we would say you have to explore other means of satisfying your spouse. Okay, is it possible that you could use your hands as well? Yes, you've gone off it, you're no longer craving it, you no longer want it because of the condition, the medical condition at the moment. Okay, but do not leave your spouse to him or herself. Okay, you need to, we're supposed to be looking out for the needs of each other. Okay, so you need to look for means. Okay, your hands, do things that would pleasure your spouse. Okay, then another example would be ADHD. I was surprised when the doctor flagged this up. Okay, and for ADHD, they'll tell you they have the hypo and the hyper. That's just activity deficiency, hyperactivity, disorder. Attention deficiency, hyperactivity disorder. Okay, so when they say the hypo, it means your sex drive plummets. Okay, and so there's no drive, there's nothing, and when it's hyper, it's just overboard. And the other is wondering, what's all this? Why are you wanting too much of it? Okay, and then it could put that person off, the spouse who is wondering, and the spouse is like, no, this is not the person I married. This is not how we used to have it. What's this new drive for more? And it could be a problem. You want to say another point?
Yeah, sometimes one of the things that causes this kind of a thing, it can be mental health challenge. Maybe someone is experiencing depression.
That's true.
The person just got to that maybe midlife crisis and they're asking themselves, is this all my life is all about? Sometimes it might, because what we often say to people is that your number one sexual organ is not your genitals, it's your mind. So if your mind is not in it, if you are distracted, you're worried, all right, things are happening that you're not quite understanding, it might affect your spouse desire for sex. So it has nothing to do with you. It might just be the phase of life that they are going through. So rather than just complaining and nagging and throwing scriptures at them, it's my right, it's my this, Try to be more understanding, because good understanding will procure favor. If you understand something, the way you're going to work around it will probably, when you understand something, it's probably would help you to be more empathetic.
That's true.
All right, so because you'll be able to put yourself in your spouse's shoes. So mental health issues such as high level of stress, depression, that people just lose the desire to do anything. All right, can also be one of the contributors. So if you notice that you have medical conditions like diabetes, you have medical conditions or mental health challenges, find a way to fix these issues, because these are big issues. They're like elephants in the room. You have to address them. Otherwise, sex will always be put in the back burner. All right. So if you are the spouse who is going through this, I know that it might sound insensitive to say, try to be more understanding of your spouse. Also, flip it around. But, once in a while, I've noticed that the issue is not always the issue. It's how we are handling the issue.
That's right.
All right. The heart of the matter is the matter of the heart. How are you interpreting the matter? How are you thinking? Are you seeing it as an end? Or are you seeing it just as a bend? So if you see it as an end, you are likely to just throw in the towel and say, oh, this is me. There's nothing I can do about my diabetic issue. There's nothing I can do about my depression. All right. But if you think that, man, this is just a blip in the whole picture, then you can begin to be more proactive and more have a growth mindset around it and try to see how you can pull yourself out of it. And that way it's easier for your spouse to be of support to you.
Okay, that's a good point. The next point we have for you is that you're busy. This I'm laughing because we can't be guilty of that. So we need to catch ourselves, right?
You mean us?
Come on.
Yes, because some of these things we had to sit down and reflect over our own lives as well and see where are we, so we can also bring this information to you guys as well. We are also work in progress in some of this.
Exactly. So when you just go on and on and on, you talked about stress a bit. You don't realize that when you're stressed, you're not your best. You just thinking about all you have to do, all the other thing and the other thing and the other thing. It could deter you from enjoying sex. It could, because some people, I was talking with this lady and she said to me, you won't believe it, she was so busy for a period that each time her husband wanted it, she was just like, oh, okay, just come have it. And he started to complain because for him, he just didn't want to just, feel like I'm doing it for myself. It should be pleasure for both of us. It should be pleasurable for both of us. So stress.
Another thing is that the thing about being busy, there is a way you can be excessively busy without an end in mind. It's understandable if you say, okay, you know what, my spouse is working on this proposal, I need to give us 1 week, 2 weeks. Or my spouse is working on this, I need to give him 1 week, 2 weeks. All right, it will come around. So you guys have it at the back of your mind. It's easier for people to manage a situation when they have an end in view. It's just a mental thing. What about if there is no end in view, that this is your life now, which is not bad to be busy as long as you're busy being productive. All right, but sitting down and saying, this is okay, guys, can we just overlook this? We're going to do this at this point. So everybody knows, everybody have that understanding. Nobody will complain when they know that there is something to look forward to. 1. 2, if you're busy to the point where you are now beginning to drift apart, that one is the dangerous busy. All right, where you are not very bad, when you are now beginning to drift apart, that being in your spouse's presence no longer excites you. All right, because you are busy and your mind is on something else, and you're just doing, both of you are in separate worlds. You might be in the physical space, same physical space, but you're in different emotional worlds, you're in different mental spaces. It's not good for your relationship, because it's definitely going to impact your sex life. Definitely.
It will. So for the solution, one solution people, you touched on one. Another solution people could consider is you can schedule sex. And what we say is, I don't want to go to the other point we have, but we'll be dealing with something like this again later in another point, maybe in part 2. But scheduling it just helps you know that, okay, in spite of all I have to do, I need to make time for this. Okay, it just putting some structure in place to know that, to ensure that our sex life does not suffer.
Exactly. I know when we mention schedule, people are like, what kind of a thing is that? But no matter how busy you are, you find time to breathe air. You find time to eat. You find time to do things that are important. No matter even if you are eating junk, you are eating something. All right. So the thing about it is, if you think it's important, you find time for it. I notice that no matter how busy I am, what is important to me, I find time for them. All right. So if you define it as more like just like an add-on, not the main thing, it will reflect your attitude towards it. If you define it as an important core of your relationship, like money is, you're going to prioritize it. Basically, that's what it is.
Okay, and at this point, I think we should just tell you, because some people might be wondering, what's this whole fuzz about sex? Sex is important for you as a couple because it helps you bond.
Yes.
Right? In the course of having it, there are hormones that are released that strengthens the intimacy between you both.
Fantastic.
That's why you should be having sex.
Fantastic. Yeah? Yep.
Okay, so another point we have for you today is unaddressed trauma. Unaddressed trauma. As we're thinking about this, we said, okay, it's possible that people may have been traumatized in the past, but there are sometimes triggers. Some things happen. An example would be for a lady who was raped when she was young, and then all of a sudden on the news that you have this on the news of someone who raped somebody, and very similar to her experience. You kind of see that it's beginning to affect her. I remember in the breakout of one of a similar thing, one lady was saying that it affected her so much that she would just break down and cry. And her husband would be wondering, why are you crying? What's the problem? So this was because he was even careful. He was like over conscious to look to notice that there's something not right with her. Why is she changing? Why is she withdrawing? Okay, so in a case like that, some people could take it to the bedroom as well, and when it's time for the act, because they're just remembering the whole thing, they would no longer enjoy it. It's not, it would no longer be something they look forward to having. Yes.
The thing about trauma is that it's not often rational. All right, so to you, who is not the traumatized partner, you won't understand it. It won't make sense to you.
That's right.
It's like if you don't have fear for spider and somebody else's reaction to spider, maybe like, what is this? All right. Some people will. So what I'm trying to say is that don't rationalize somebody else's trauma. Don't try to downplay it. Don't try to minimize it. This is not going to solve the problem. When you say, some people may be afraid of dogs. They say, why are you afraid of dogs? What is there? No, don't minimize. There might be a history to that fear. Of course, you don't like the irrational way they behave whenever they see a dog, but that's not the solution. Do you try to minimize it? So one way may be you talking them through it if they are open to it. So basically, if your spouse is demonstrating any form of traumatic experience that is impacting on sex, don't try to barrage them or minimize it and say like, why are you being selfish? It's all about you, blah, 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 blah. No. Talk about this when she is open, when he is open, all right? Not when that trauma has kicked in. At that point, the person will log you out. All right. So, in a more relaxed moment, tell me more about this. Why do you feel this way? Do you want us to talk about this? How often has this been? Okay, what have you done about this? Because no matter how much you know your spouse before you get married, in marriage you keep discovering an angle that even they themselves may not know. So this may be something new to you. Rather than just trying to project your prior understanding, be curious and dig deeper.
Yes, I like that perspective. So it calls for patience as well. You need to be patient and just understand that she's going through this at this moment. I need to give her some time, give him some time. Yes. Men go through trauma as well, by the way. Okay. So another point is painful sex. When sex is painful. So could it be that she's just had a baby? Okay, and sometimes it may not be the initial stages. Maybe 1 month later, and some men are thinking, "Oh, it's been 6 weeks. You've seen your doctor. What's going on?" Okay, and this is where the danger of copying and pasting from other marriages. Okay, your friend told you, at 4 weeks we were fine and we were going on. And you're expecting that, she should be ready by 4 weeks.
Yes.
Everyone's different. Okay? So you need to meet your spouse where they are.
Fantastic.
And then don't forget it's a journey. You journey together. Right? So explore why she could be having pains. Can I help you? Is there a way we could do it that would not be as painful? Okay? And there's something you would always say. Should I say use it or lose it?
Yes. Yes.
You want to say
yeah, well, what I wanted to say before I even mentioned this was sometimes your wife may have a cut in the process of pregnancy. So if she had a cut, it means that place will be sore and painful. So I like what you said in the sense that, can they have it? You can also wait even longer. So that's why I like the point of patience.
Yes.
Although the longer should not become Methuselah kind of longer, whereby it's like 5 years, 20 years, no, just because of one baby. So we should have again, and also it depends on how you also communicate it to your spouse. So maybe like, I had pain. Is it just this thing every time? There's a way you can communicate something. I know that you have to have this now. Can we wait a little longer? I'm still feeling pain there. Most guys who, you had a baby together, it's not just I had a baby, you will be more understanding. So communication style is very important.
Hopefully.
Because usually when a woman gives birth, emotions are all over the place. Hormones.
Yes.
Are all over the place. So it might not come out in the best packaged way. All right, so I'm warning the guys ahead of time. It might not come out the best packaged way, but some women have, no matter how hormonal they have decorum on how to communicate things. But I'm only saying that we must bear with one another longer than you would have if there was no baby in the picture. Okay, so very important for you to be able to do this, and then to speak to your point about if you don't use it, you lose it. If it gets too long, what happens is that place might begin to, especially for ladies, begin to shrink.
That's true.
And so next time around may be more painful. And that's the challenge with that.
Yeah. That's a very valid point. It's scary sometimes when you think about it. Okay. And then another thing I wanted to say as you were talking, because you mentioned hormones. Another thing that affects people, women too, could be contraceptive pills. Okay, and hormones are all over the place. And then it affects sex.
Yes.
Their ability to enjoy sex. Okay, so those are some things they could query. Why you no longer enjoy sex? Could that be one of the things? Because when you know what the problem is, then you know how to fix it.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay.
And some of these hormones, some of this stuff make women add weight and make them now begin to load their body.
Yes.
All right. I've seen some ladies who added weight more than they should because of the contraceptive they were taking. So don't just take something that your friend is taking. Your body might be different. Get full support. What do you call it? Medical advice. Yes. All right. So you don't take something that will not make you begin to more like self-hate. All right. You don't need that for yourself.
Okay. So in this video, the last point for this video, you can tell we have more points. So you want to watch the next one. Okay. Last point for this one is that you find someone or something else more attractive. Okay. You find someone or something else more attractive. When I say something else, I'll let you talk about someone else. When I say something else, that's something like pornography. Okay. You can't be so caught up in that and expect that you'll be satisfying your spouse.
Yes.
Because like we always say, pornography, the outlet has to be masturbation.
Yes.
So when you've done it, you're satisfied.
Yes.
That's solo sex. You've satisfied yourself. So there's no need for your spouse to do it. You see? So it begins to impact things in the bedroom. Now in saying this, I don't want spouses to go, hey, could it be that that's why we've not been having it? It's just one of the many reasons. Okay.
Remember we said at the beginning that we are bringing this point so that you can have more meaningful conversations rather than pointing fingers. You can have more verbiage, you can have more words to be able to use, you can have more ideas of what might be the possible reasons. All right, so that way it's more, you guys can have more meaningful conversation. Sometimes when people begin to find other people attractive, it might affect. The thing about when you find somebody else attractive is that unconsciously your heart will be turned away from your spouse. And so when your wife's heart is turned away from your spouse, you will not find her or him sexually attractive. And for some reason, anytime that happens, it's when your spouse begin to do things that will even further annoy you, that will drive you away. So we have to be very cautious around it and create barriers, create boundaries around our hearts. Very important.
So I would want to refer you to our video, which we talked about this. Could you be having an emotional affair without knowing it?
Yes.
Could you be having an emotional affair without knowing it? Because some people excuse it. They just say to themselves, well, I'm not having sex with this person.
We're not having anything physical.
Okay, but you're having emotional connection with this person. So it takes off the emotional connection you have with your spouse. And don't forget that not always, but in some cases, there are people who do not feel attracted, do not have sex with people unless they are emotionally attracted to such persons, right? And that's why, yes, through emotional affairs, you can get into the main thing. Okay, so it's very important that you create boundaries, but more so, even better when you catch yourself before you get into it. Okay, if you begin to think that you're getting attracted to someone, and I understand because someone watched one of our videos and was asking a question about this, where we said that you should have a transparent atmosphere in your marriage where your spouse can say anything. And someone asked this question about, what if I say it with the kind of person I'm married to? Me just saying that I like somebody or I'm beginning to fancy someone could just go ballistic, right? So it's what would you say to a case like that?
Well, what you have to deal with it case by case basis. You have to consider your own spouse, all right? If you know your spouse can't handle that, you have to find an older way of managing that kind of situation. So maybe you guys may go to counseling. You guys might so I can't really say this is a particular way because if you know your spouse to react in such a way, then you don't dump it on them. You might ask them indirectly. So what would you advise someone who is doing this, kind of test out how they are going to react. So based on that, you can now come up with a strategy of how you're going to handle it. So don't say my friend just, told the husband or told the wife and she was okay with it. So that way, no, it's not going to work like that with your spouse. Obviously, you will know. So you know who you're married to. You know how they were going to handle the issue. So.
And for this lady, when she said it to me, I said to her, if you are the problem, because she was coding a lot of things, and I said, if you are the problem already, you said it to me, so it's out. I know it now. So you say, what we're trying to say is help yourself. Help yourself. Okay, so we will stop now. So you meet us on the other side. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you're notified when we drop our content. You have nothing to say? Yeah. They will come your way. It's goodbye. Meet us on the other side.
Bye.
Bye.